May 11th, 2022, Deadly Love Triangle. That was the headline, and the dead person was Anna Maria Wilson, nicknamed Mo, who was a 25-year-old champion bicyclist. She raced gravel bikes, and she was an up-and-coming star. It was a pure tragedy, and the story quickly unfolded, and let's just dive into it. It all began in 2021 when Anna Maria Wilson was on the cycling circuit, and she crossed paths with Colin Strickland, who was a male cyclist, champion cyclist as well, and the two of them hit off, a good friendship. And then eventually, in the fall of 2021, Mariah was single, and Colin was also free to mingle, and the two of them got together. They dated a bit, and at this time, Kaitlin Armstrong, who was Colin's kind of on and off, but they never labeled themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend. They were roommates and friends, and friends with benefits from time to time. Colin has stated on the stand that he never saw a future in his relationship with Kaitlin. Anyway, Kaitlin was out at a restaurant, and her best friend was there with her, and Mariah went into the restaurant, and the friend could tell that Kaitlin was seething, and so she just asked, if Colin ever gets serious about someone else, what would you do? And Kaitlin straight up said, I would kill her. And that was a year prior to this murder. Anyway, Colin and Kaitlin, like I said, were on and off, and Mo lived in California. Colin and Kaitlin lived in Austin, Texas, and the friendship between Colin and Mo continued, but Mo was very focused on her career and in the sport of gravel racing and getting sponsorships and all that. And she and Colin both had a lot of the same sponsors. They were on the same team, so their paths did cross quite a bit. They would practice and train riding their cycles together, etc. But because of Caitlin's jealousy, she even had somehow hacked into Colin's phone. Probably they were on the same phone plan or something. But anyway, at one point, Colin dated another woman in Denver, Colorado, and the woman shared lingerie photos with him. And then Kaitlin sent Colin a screenshot of this, so he knew that she would get into his phone and all that kind of stuff. So he changed Mo's contact in his phone to a different name. Anyway, so then we get to May 11th, 2022, and at that time, Mo was going to be in Austin. Well, she had arrived a little bit before that. Anyway, she was going to be in Austin because she was training and getting ready to race in the 157-mile Gravel Locos race. She was most likely going to win that race. And it's, okay, I won't even go there. It's just such a tragedy that she's no longer with us. So, May 11th, Mo and Colin texted each other and made plans to meet up that evening and spend a little bit of time together. Meanwhile, 5 minutes after they concluded their text making plans to meet up, Kaitlin Armstrong used the Strava app, which is a fitness app that used by cyclists and joggers and whatnot. And it has a GPS on it, and if you don't have the safety on it, it shows your whole start and finish. If you're using the safety feature, then you can chop off the beginning or the end or both of your route, so people don't know where you started and ended. But anyway, Mo wasn't using that safety, and Kaitlin looked that up and was obviously tracking. And also disturbing is that previously Kaitlin had done passive-aggressive things towards Colin, like, for instance, when she saw footage of Colin at a bike race and saw Mo in the background of the photo, she texted Colin and said, give my love to Mo. So, she was well aware of this friendship. And, who knows what the friendship was at this point. No reason to kill anybody over it, but somebody got killed over it. And so it was 5:43 p.m. when Colin went to Kaitlin Cash's home. Kaitlin Cash, I will refer to her as Cash after this because of the fact that, two Kaitlins might be confusing. So anyway, Cash was a good friend of Mo's, kind of like sisters, and also a cyclist. Anyway, Mo was staying with Cash while she was in Austin, and Colin went to Cash's house and picked up Mo on his motorcycle at about 5:43 p.m. They went to the Deep Eddy Pool, and then after that, they went across the street to Pool Burger, where they had dinner and some rum drinks, and, they just hung out a bit. And then Colin drove Mo back to Cash's house. And, 1 minute after she used the electronic key lock to get into the house, so it's on the security and everything. They know what time she got in there. And within 1 minute of that, cameras that were in the neighborhood showed a black 2012 Jeep pull up right there as well. Anyway, also caught on those security cameras were screams and gunshots. Anyway, it was about an hour after this that Cash got home from being out to dinner with friends, and she got there and she saw Mo in a puddle of blood, covered in blood, on the floor in the bathroom, and she called 911 and she started CPR. She did CPR for 10 minutes, and she couldn't tell because of the blood and everything. She couldn't tell what had happened to Mo. So in her call to 911, she was saying, "I don't know what happened." And anyway, the responders arrived and stuff, and of course, Mo was already gone. Cash had not realized this, and after this, Cash went to the police station and was giving statements, and then after that, she was washing the blood off of her hands and then wishing she could get the blood back out of the sink because that was the last thing she had of Mo, because she had been informed that Mo was already deceased at the home, and there were bullet holes in the washer and dryer at the property, and Cash has had to look at that since then. She's got PTSD and everything. Anyway, meanwhile, the police got right on it, and they quickly found Mo's very expensive cycle, and it was in some bamboo like 60 feet from the house. Anyway, so they saw that Jeep, and they got the plate number from the Jeep because the Jeep's there at the same time that there's the screams and the gunshots. And then the Jeep came up with a registration to the address that was shared by Colin Strickland and Kaitlin Armstrong. It was Caitlin's Jeep. And so they were informed of Mo's death and asked about their whereabouts and things like that. Colin gave a complete rundown of his day and his timeline with Mo. And Colin, when he was testifying in court, he stated that he did ask Kaitlin, "Where were you?" She came up with something. The next day, which is the 12th, law enforcement showed up at the house because Kaitlin just happened to have a warrant for theft. Basically, she had gone and gotten Botox and then skipped out on the bill. So anyway, they picked her up. They took her to the station for questioning. She was kind of cool as a cucumber, and, they ended up letting her go. Big mistake, because the next day, Kaitlin had sold that Jeep at a Carvana or CarMax, I'm not sure which. But anyway, she sold the Jeep for $12,000. So then, on May 14th, Kaitlin Armstrong flew to Houston, and then she took a Southwest flight to New York, where her sister lives, her sister Christine. And she stayed with her sister Christine for a few days, and Christine's passport somehow went missing. Christine says she never gave it to Kaitlin, but next thing you know, May 18th, 5:09 p.m., Christine Armstrong, but it wasn't Christine, boarded a flight from Newark International Airport to San Jose, Costa Rica. And the ticket, like I said, was in Christine Armstrong's name, but it was Kaitlin Armstrong who used that passport, got that ticket, and flew to Costa Rica. And so we got to May 20th. Kaitlin was already in Costa Rica, and that's when the U.S. Marshals were called in, and they put out the wanted poster for her. Meanwhile, Kaitlin Armstrong, using the name Ari, had arrived in Santa Teresa. There, she made some friends. She was staying at Don John's, and she would spend a lot of time on her laptop out in the common area, and she would go out for drinks with friends. She was just like living it up there for a couple weeks, and then she went to San Jose, where she had a $6,000 cosmetic surgery. Meanwhile, the U.S. Marshals were on her tail. They traced her to San Jose. They got there, and then they traced her over to Santa Teresa. And then on June 29th, they found Kaitlin at Don John's. She was on the patio at a table, just, pleased as punch, living her life. And at first, they didn't recognize her because of the changes she did, but when they got closer, they figured out, yeah, this is her. And so they nabbed her, extradited her back to the United States, and stuff was going on while we're waiting for the trial and everything to happen. And then on October 11th, Kaitlin attempted an escape. Yeah, you got that right. Just 2 weeks before her trial, she had been pretending that she had a leg injury and she needed to see a doctor and stuff. And so they didn't have any leg shackles on her. And then she bolted. She took off running in her striped prison uniform. There's video of it and everything. Anyway, she took off running. Cops chasing behind her. She tried to scale a 6-foot fence, and, she was captured and taken back into custody. But, that was a factor in her sentencing. So there was a trial, and Kaitlin had been offered a plea deal where she was looking at 40 to 60 years if she took the plea. She refused to take that plea bargain. I bet she wishes she did now. Anyway, after 2 hours of deliberation, the jury came back with guilty as charged. And then November 17th, 2023, the jury came back with 90 years. And with a 90-year sentence, or with any prison sentence, you have to serve half of it before you're eligible for parole. So, with 40 years, she would have been eligible for parole in 20. And if she had taken the plea deal, she would get 40 to 60, so she would get out in 20 to 30 years. But she didn't take the plea deal. She went to court. Everything came out in the wash, and she was sentenced to 90 years. So she'll have to serve 45 before she's eligible for parole. And as she is now 35 years old, she's going to be quite old before she is eligible for parole. In a sense, justice has been served for Mo, but really, the world has been robbed of this inspiring young cyclist. Her family is forever changed. Her friends are forever changed. Kaitlin's family is forever changed. And Colin, collateral damage, I guess you'd say, in Kaitlin's scheme, because in the aftermath of all of this, he lost his sponsors. He stopped riding professionally. It's just a total train wreck for him. My heart goes out to everyone affected by this, and I hope you enjoyed this story, and I look forward to the comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.